Hello you guys and welcome back to another video. Today we are going to be going over tile sets. Where did I go? What the heck? It's so glitchy. Okay. I'm going to be going over tile sets in RPG Maker NC. So yeah, let's dive right in. Welcome one and all to this tropical little piece of paradise. To the island without a name because I didn't name it. I'm so funny. Anyways, yeah. Welcome to the island. So you'll see a bunch of different tile sets functioning here. First, we have our little river that's, shallow enough to walk through. Then we have our bridge going over the water. We have the water. We have our ladders. To go up and down our little cliffs that you cannot climb up because they don't have ladders. Then we have, stuff you can't walk through, like rocks and thick bushes. With like holes in the ground, things we can walk behind, like this tree, and things we can walk over, like these leaves. Ooh, I wonder what this is. Oh dear, that looks dangerous. The floor is too hot to walk on without it hurting. Ow! This very hot floor. Hot, hot, hot. I should probably stop walking on it. 434. 364. Yes, I agree. The floor is dangerous. We should not walk on it. Alright, let's go break down what exactly is happening here. So there aren't a lot of events on this page because, that's kind of not the focus. We're focusing strictly on the tiles. So let's dive into our tile sets, which is accessed. Oh my goodness. This is accessed through the database. You'll find the tile sets tab on the left side, a little 5, 6 up from the top, and you'll see you have. These are all default. I've messed with them a little, but they're the default actual tile sets. Alright, let me actually pull this guy up and show you all these. A1 is going to be your water tile. It'll have all the different waters on it. A2 is going to be your ground tile. A4 is your walls and flat ceilings. A5 is a bunch of random ground stuff. Your stairs, and then B through D or E, I'll have to check when we get back into the database, is all of your furniture, your columns, your rocks, any little decoration stuff. So you see it's the same for inside a dungeon, A1, A2, A4, A5. Now you might be wondering, wait, A2, A4, where's A3? Well, that is an outside thing. It is our slanted roofs. Now, mind you could make this for inside or dungeons. It just doesn't come that way default. So A3 is slanted roofs, A4 is flat roofs, and yeah, so on and so forth. Okay, it does go to E, I was right. Notice that on these, the start, you'll have a bunch of different options over here. So first we have world type and area type. So you notice world map is world type. For everything else is area type. This kind of is how stuff auto tiles. I don't know exactly how it works. I just know that it works. This is a lot clunkier and blockier and easier to read than this. So just know that. But you'll notice there's a bunch of different, actually, before I get into that, the way you change these guys is you click them, and then you locate the image that was saved to the tile set folder. Alright, so you notice we have a bunch of different buttons here. So we're going to start with the first one that we have highlighted. We can tell because it's a lighter gray, on passage. Now, passage is sets whether your player can pass through the tile. O means it's passable. They'll walk under it. They'll walk over it. Sorry, not under it. They will walk over it. X is impassable. Nothing can walk through this tile. And star means that they will walk under the tile. So you notice that all the water except for the shallow one is marked X. All the fence posts, all the holes, all the buildings are X. You cannot walk through them. While the ground is O, you can walk over it. And let's find an example of star. The trees, the top layer, you can't walk through the stump, but you can totally walk behind a too tall tree. So that is set to star. This chimney, which would be above the player's heads, post set to star. And then, yeah, more star. So you might be wondering, wait, when you walked through this water, you could see it covered half the player, but when you walked on the ground, it didn't do anything, and they are set to the same thing. That is because of this little button right here, bush. Notice that the water is marked with it, and the basic ground is not. And what bush does, it sets as a translucent the bottom some pixels of a character on the tile, which can make the character's feet seemingly hidden in a bush. So it does not actually affect the tile. Rather, it turns the player's bottom pixels translucent, which means see-through, but not completely opaque. It's like turning the opacity down, is what it does. So you see that these bushes here are set with it, the shallow water is, and that's pretty much it. You can also set some of these weeds to it, and it'll look like the player's walking amongst the weeds instead of just stomping on them. Which makes sense for the little guys, but for the taller ones, you want to be able to walk over them. All right, so that's what the bush is. So let's move to passage, 4-directional. So if you've set something to O, and it's not one of these guys, because these guys, by default, by being in their ones, you can't, they are or they aren't. There's nothing you change about it. These guys down here, you can. So the 4-directional one sets up the direction from which a character can enter the tile. So for like this guy, or this guy, as you can see on this map, you cannot walk off the edge into the water. You cannot walk from this little landing up here. So that means, because I have these because I have these guys turned off, that means the player can't, oh, I see why, because these are X's, so that wouldn't matter. But you can't walk on or off from this direction. This direction, this direction, this direction, this direction. So that means the player, they're walking, I don't know why I clicked drive. If they're walking this way, they can't walk onto it this direction, and they can't walk off of it this direction. They can go this way, they can go this way, but they can't go this way, or this way, or this way, or this way. So that's what that one does. It's handy for like bridges and edges. A ladder. We have to go to our B tile for that. Ladder just makes it so when a player touches that means that the character will look forward, turn upwards, to make it look like they're grabbing onto it when they climb. Because, I would like to see someone climb the ladder backwards. I think that would be incredibly difficult. And, just not worth the effort. So by tagging something with the ladder, it means they will face the wall when climbing up and down. I already went over bush. Counters. We're going to want this guy for that one. Counters are marked with this little diamond here, and counters are stuff that you can interact with the event across from it, because normally you can only interact with an event when you guys are like smushed together, like one against each other. But with a counter, it means you can interact with events not directly next to the player. So if you have a shop and you want them behind a counter, you would want to make sure the tile that they're standing behind is marked as a counter. And that means that it just basically acts as a little connector point between A and B, and you can interact with them even if they're not directly next to the character. And if you give it to an auto tile, which is what all these guys are, then it automatically counts it as a table. And yeah, that's something I will dive into in a moment. Damage floor. This is what happened in the dungeon when we walked on... I'm confused. Well, anyways, maybe I have another one of them selected somewhere. Yes, I do. Okay, yeah. I had this selected. Anywho, when you walk on this tile with the little spikes, it hurts you. That's really all there is to it. It takes, sets the tile to deal damage when walked on. That's all it does, and you'll see it's working when the spikes appear, and you just click on and off for all of these. Terrain tags. This has no specific use in basic RPG Maker unless you're actually starting to figure stuff out. But if you let's go to this guy for this one. If you set all the snow to be 1, so every event with 1 would be snow, then you could have a parallel event doing footstep sounds or showing footsteps appearing behind the player, or you could have it set on the world map, where if they're walking on the ground, it's 0, but if they enter a house, it's 1, and that could cause something to happen. If they're walking in water, you could have ripples appear around the player. It's just, it's kind of unlimited what you could do with these. But yeah, you just get that information by using get location info, which is found on the 3rd tab in the event commands under map, get location info. Then it's the first one, terrain tag. And it'll set a variable to that number. And then you just do a check to see if that variable is that number. So that is all what these guys, and you can just copy, paste. And then you can change the maximum or decrease. Yeah, change the maximum, decrease or increase the number of these you have. Sometimes if you have a map where you can walk over and under tiles, like if you have a bridge that goes both, it goes over a walkable area and then the player can walk over it. This would be over. Then you literally just have 2 tile sets. One, I just name them over and under for simplicity, and the other one would be set to star to be above the player. And you would have it set, say you could walk under here. It would be, you would have a below character, common event, when player touch. You would change tile set to be the under one, and then they would pass under this, and then you would have them right here, have it set to over. And that's how you would make a bridge both walkable over and under. But let me dive into a little bit more of just tile set specific stuff. So, which one is it in? Here they are. Sweet. Notice that the tables here, or all of the floor stuff here, are split wonkily. So here, let me open GIMP to really fully explain this. I'll use some of the tiles that I'm working on for my game as soon as GIMP decides it wants to load. All right, so you notice there's kind of 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4 for each of these. This guy right here is what will be displayed in the tileset editor. So you don't, it doesn't need to be made perfect. No one but you is going to see this. These are the corners and the middles, and then this is all of the edges. Okay, it loaded. It did not. Right. I honestly don't know where I got a bunch of these tiles. I'd have to check my credits. So you know what? Actually, let's go with one. Let's actually go with this one because I have a table on this one. So you see this is displayed in the editor. These are the corners and the middles, and then this is all of the edges. So here's a thing. I find this is easiest to show with rugs, right? Come on. Okay. So you have a rug. Right, so see this middle area right here? See how it has all the little corners, so it's not just an empty purple square in the middle, it actually shows the edges. That is what this does. And then it will literally just patch together stuff from the edges. Just know that it works. I can't tell you exactly how. Just know that you don't need to worry about it, and the editor does a lot of the work for you, and it's really nice that way. And auto tiles are, as much as they limit you, they are also amazing, and I will stand by that statement. But yeah, see the little square there is that. But I was going to talk about tables. So tables, when marked with counter, will drop this below, so it will look more like the squares of the player's walkable area. It'll look more like that. So this will be the part that can be interacted with, and then this will be the part that the player stands above and is not interactable. This can get glitchy if you start putting tables on different layers, but you know what? I find it works pretty well. So yeah, that's how the floor tiles work. So let's pull up the wall tiles. These guys work the roof. This is the flat. These are for the flats. They work the same way. These are the corners. This is the display, and then that's the middle area that does everything else. These guys, notice I have a bunch of different colors right here. If I wanted to make this 3 tall, it would not stretch it. It would repeat it. So I cannot make this wall more than 2 tall. Otherwise, the colors get wonky. This ends up down here, and it just does not look great. Which is why, on general, I mean, mind you, for this game, I'm not doing that, so that's my personal choice. But you would want stuff like this that is easily repeated from the top side to the bottom side. But that's how that guy works. See, I have a A4. Then I have a A2. I have an A4 and an A2. Let's pull up A5, which it's just literally a bunch of random stuff. You can put whatever you want down here. I've been kind of following the pre-existing pattern because I think that makes it easier, but you can literally put whatever the heck you want. It does not matter. And then we have B through E, which is literally just put whatever the heck you want in here. As long, and the grid is 48 by 48 for default. They did add an update where you can change that. You go into system here. I have the tile size to 48 by 48. You can do 16 by 16, 24 by 24, 32 by 32. I have 48 by 48 because I started this project before changing that was even an option. And B, I feel like you can get the most details in 48 by 48 because that is the number of pixels. Yeah, you notice here Here, let me open my project so I can show you. It'll be third down, I think. No, it is not. Hold on, give me a sec. All right, I'm back. So here you can see what I did with those books. So the books are set separate to the bookshelf. So you can individualize them. Like, I only need to have one full bookshelf, and then I can put that, oops. I could put that books in there. I could put these books in there. I could put whatever the heck this is in there. I could put whatever the heck this is in there. And instead of having to do spin 3 slots, I'm only spending 1 slot. Which is a great space saver if you are running low on space. Like, this banner is set. I swear I used it somewhere in this build. Oh well. Well, the spanner is set to be completely above the player, so they'll just walk underneath it. What it did. The top layer is above the player, and the bottom layer is not, so it works like a tree. You can walk behind the top layer, but you are stopped by the bottom layer, so you don't walk through the object, which is something to be careful of. I have window reflections in here, which are set to below the player. You could have them set to shine on the player. I just don't. That's completely a personal preference thing. But yeah, I think that is pretty much all there is to go through when it comes to tile sets. Yeah. I hope y'all enjoyed the video, and I will see y'all in the next one. Bye!